All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to peel back the layers of SAP's billing engine and figure out how it handles just mountains of complex data. And to do that, we're going to use a really simple analogy that makes it all click: blueprints and building blocks.
I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. You've got one company, and they're juggling all sorts of charges. How on earth do they make sure every single one is captured accurately, consistently, and is actually ready to go out on an invoice?
Well, the answer lies in a pretty brilliant system. It's an approach that's designed to be super flexible, but also incredibly stable. And we're going to break it all down using this idea of, you guessed it, blueprints and building blocks.
So, first things first, let's really set the stage here. Let's understand just how complex this problem we're trying to solve really is.
You see, a modern business isn't just selling one thing anymore. They're dealing with a constant flood of different kinds of data. And each one of these isn't just a number, it's got its own story. Dates, customer IDs, tax codes, payment details, the whole shebang. A simple spreadsheet would just buckle under the pressure. You absolutely need an industrial-strength system to avoid total data chaos.
So how does SAP bring order to all that chaos? Well, it all starts with the first piece of our analogy, the blueprint.
Now, the official, fancy term for this blueprint is a billable item class, or just BIT class for short. Don't let the name scare you. It's basically a master template that defines exactly what kind of information you need for a specific type of transaction. So, for example, you'd have one blueprint for a monthly subscription and a totally different one for a one-time service fee.
That's exactly what it is. The BIT class is the architectural plan. It lays out the structure, the fields, the rules, everything for a certain kind of charge. This makes sure every single transaction is recorded in exactly the same way every single time.
And here's a really key insight. SAP gives you the design tools, but, and this is important, you are the architect. Every business is different, right? So you get to design the blueprints to perfectly fit your needs. That's what makes the system so incredibly powerful and flexible.
Okay, so if the blueprint is custom-made, what's it made of? Let's get into the second part of our analogy, those standardized building blocks.
It's the logical next question, isn't it? I mean, a blueprint is just a plan on paper. To actually build anything, you need materials. You need reliable, consistent parts to put your structure together.
And here they are, interface components. Think of these as your prefabricated, standardized building blocks, like high-tech Legos. Each one represents a specific piece of a business process, like how to handle credit card data or how to manage basic receivables. You just pick the components you need and snap them together to build your custom BIT class blueprint.
And hey, this isn't just some abstract idea. You're looking at the actual menu in SAP. This is your library of building blocks. It's like walking into a hardware store. You just select the ones you need for your project. Need to handle card payments? You check that box. Need to track usage periods? Yep, there's a component for that too.
Now get this. A single building block is so much more than just a name on a list. Each interface component is a self-contained little package of power. It comes with its own business logic, the exact data fields it needs, database keys, and even built-in validation checks. This ensures every single piece of your blueprint is robust and intelligent right out of the box.
So here's the crucial rule of the road. Your blueprints are custom designed, but the building blocks are standard. You use the huge library that SAP gives you. You can't go off and create your own. And that's a very deliberate design choice. It's what guarantees stability, consistency, and reusability across the entire system. Okay, so we've got our custom blueprints and our library of standard building blocks. Let's see how they actually come together to create a real working data interface.
The process is wonderfully straightforward. First, you put on your architect's hat and select your interface components, your building blocks. Second, you activate the configuration, which is kind of like getting the final stamp of approval on your blueprint. And finally, you tell the system to generate the interface.
And that generate step? That's where the magic happens. This diagram shows how a single transaction takes your abstract design, your blueprint, and automatically constructs all the technical stuff you need. It builds the API to receive the data and the specific database tables to store it perfectly, all based on the components you picked.
So we've covered the what and the how, but now let's talk about the most important question. Why? Why does this structured approach of blueprints and building blocks matter so much for a business?
Well, the difference is night and day. Without this system, you've got data chaos. Different teams defining things in different ways, which just leads to errors and a maintenance nightmare. But with this structure, you get data integrity. Standardized components mean consistent fields, and the whole blueprint model is scalable, reusable, and just fundamentally reliable.
And that's the ultimate payoff, isn't it? This isn't just some clever technical design. It's about creating a foundation of trust in your financial data. It guarantees that every single piece of information that eventually becomes an invoice is consistent, complete, and correct from the very moment it enters the system.
So in the end, SAP provides these standardized, super robust building blocks. But the real power, the creativity, that comes from how you choose to assemble them to perfectly model your business. So the fundamental question isn't just about what the blocks can do. It's now that you understand them, what will you design?